What's up, YouTube? This is Yugi Invasion. So today what we're going to be talking about is some tips or some general advice from me to you guys on how to improve your deck. Okay, so the first thing we're talking about is draw power and consistency. So if your deck is slow, or if your deck is slow, you're gonna want more consistent cards in your deck to get your to your key cards or your combo pieces. Some cards that you should probably run if your deck is too slow would probably be like Upstart Goblin. Your opponent gains 1,000 life points and then you draw a card. Another good card is Pot of Duality. If your deck special summons a lot, and Pot of Duality is probably not the best card, but it's still an option. Reckless Greed is also another good card. When you activate it, you draw 2 cards. But if you were to run Reckless Greed, I'd recommend running 3 copies of it, because if you activate them on the same turn, then you'd still only be losing your next 2 draw phases. But if you activate them separately on the same turn, it builds up. So if you activate Reckless Greed, you draw 2, skip your next 2 draw phases, and then say later during the turn you activate another one, then it's gonna add up. So you're gonna have to skip 4 of your draw phases, which is not good. Another thing is slowing your opponent down. If your deck even is so consistent and stuff, if it's not fast enough to compete against the meta or just other decks, then you're probably gonna need to run cards to slow your opponent down so you can get your plays off before they do. Some good cards would be Effect Veiler. I know a lot of people are using Effect Veiler now. Breakthrough Skill is also really good. Phoenix Chain is still pretty good. Vanity's Emptiness is still pretty good, even though it's at 1. It still hurts a lot of decks. Another key thing when it comes to improving your deck, it's gonna take a lot of deck testing. But back to consistency. If you want to test on how consistent your deck is, you can try this little trick. Alright guys, for this trick, we're going to be using my Light Ray Lightsworn deck. Okay, so for this trick, you're going to want to, when you shuffle your deck, you're going to want to just, show off the 5 cards, top 5 cards of your deck. So what we reveal here is, 5 cards. That's your first draw if you're going first or second, it doesn't matter. But anyways, what you want to ask yourself is, can you work with this deck? Or not deck, I'm sorry. Can you work with this hand? Me personally, I could work with this. I could summon Aaron and just mill top 3 and then, set this too. So I would put this in the good pile because I can work with it. Then what you're going to want to do is take another 5 and then, again, ask yourself if you can work with this. This is actually, in my opinion, a pretty good hand because you got 2 cards that can mill, you got a charge that goes into your Lightsworns, you got a Mathematician. I think this is a good hand. You're going to want to do another 5. Since we got a Magical Merchant, I believe this is a good hand. Because, honestly, Magical Merchant really does put in a lot of work. So I would put that there. Do another 5. Oops. Okay, so this is also a pretty good hand. You can set Raikou and then wait until your next turn to see what you want to do with Recharge. See if you want to activate it or not. What I would do is set Raikou past turn, and depending on what happens or what you draw next, activate Recharge.
Next, we're gonna do the same thing. We're basically gonna do this until the deck runs out of cards. Okay, so this, I can work with this. Even though it's not great, I can work with this. Raiden, mills 4. You set this, and then you're kind of good to go. So I can work with this. Another 5. Let's see, what's this other one? I would say this is good. Set Raikou. Depending on what happens, next turn just summon Raiden and then mill again. I can work with that. Another 5. That is 4. Whoops. This, it's kind of a risky hand because you don't know what you can mill or draw with recharge. So I would probably say this is kind of mediocre. So you would put this in the mediocre pile. And then for the last 5, we got this right here. This is probably an amazing hand. One of the best hands that you could probably get. Because you got recharge, you got a charge right here. You can basically do whatever you want right there. This was a pretty good hand. And plus you got reincarnation to grab back anything you milled that you might need. So this goes here in the good pile. So what we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hands in the good pile and 1 in the bad. So 7 out of 8 times 8 or 7 out of 8 hands you will get a good hand. Or other words, you will get 7 good hands out of 8. So yeah, that's how you would test how consistent your deck is. As you can see, so that was, that's obviously a good thing. That's a good ratio for your deck consistency.
Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you liked it, feel free to punch that like button down below. Feel free to subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Make sure it's a good one. Positivity. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Leave whatever comment you want. And also another thing. I know a lot of YouTubers have already touched on this subject. But, I thought I would give it a try and let you know what I know. But yeah, this is Yugi Invasion, signing out.